So far, we've referred to Maitland, Holdsworth, Parker and Mellows, of course Barr with his Pearson Barr work, Pearson-Stevens, Trusts and Extra Obligations, and other secondary sources. These are absolutely key, as you know, when we're thinking about elevating our work in the critical sense. So I just wanted to draw your attention to one secondary source amongst others that you might look at in the equity sense, and that's of course the work of the now deceased Anthony Oakley. Here in front of us we've got an 8th edition, and then this is a 9th. This is my own undergraduate textbook, so please forgive the annotations there, particularly those in pen. Obviously that's verboten, really, in terms of how we use materials. Should have used a pencil, well, never mind. So secondary sources are hugely important to deploy in our assessed work, and also obviously to help us think about areas more critically, particularly when we're thinking about these collections of essays and how we might get some of the ideas and these collections. And this quite good new one here, Equity Administration, edited by Turner, 2016. Do have a look at that in the library, as well as of course this Landmark Cases in Equity. In the past I've referred to Getzler's essay in there on Morris and Bishop of Durham. Very critical essay, interesting piece of work there by Getzler. But here I thought, in the context of the three certainties, we might mull on or think about what Oakley said, and that's Oakley now editing Parker and Mellows. And of course, as we know, David Parker was a Liverpool professor. He was at the University of Liverpool in the 70s, late 70s and 80s. Indeed, he taught one of our current professors, Professor Deborah Morris, as we've learnt from our introduction to Deborah Desert Island Discs video. So it's an incredibly important book for us here at Liverpool, one because it has this heritage of Professor Parker, but also because of course it's an interesting supplementary reading text in addition to our set text here, Professor Barr's work, Trusts and Equitable Obligations. So one key area that we might think about when we're reading the sources on certainty of intention anyway, as part of that seminar work, is of course the work of Oakley. And I thought I'd highlight it, not least because, as you'll see in his writing, he highlights the idea of how we might deploy the word trust. And as you can see here in the final section, the final phrase here, nor is the use of the words in trust actually decisive, although it obviously normally is. Normally will be, he goes on to say. So when we're thinking about secondary sources and deployment of terms of art like trust, like we've just seen, it's important to mull on what people like Oakley have said. So when we're thinking about the idea of trust, we might think it's axiomatic that trust has to be extant as a term of art when we're trying to define intention. But of course, when we're dealing with perhaps a more precatory language, what Oakley has perhaps just shown is that we might tend towards other terms of art that aren't so clear as the trust as a term, when we're trying to show if there has been an intention to manifest a trust relationship. So a brief bit on secondary sources and their use, and also some discussion of the use of the word trust, at least by Oakley. Until next time, goodbye.